That was huge for me because, I did always consider myself to be an environmentalist, even though clearly I just wasn't educated enough to realize that I wasn't being an environmentalist at all. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to do a little something a little different today. I'm going to do a tag video. I usually don't do tag videos. Probably have only done maybe one or two before. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I was watching another YouTuber and came across this tag, and I thought it was pretty fun. And unfortunately, I don't remember who it was because this was about a week ago. I just took a screenshot on my phone of the questions. And I can't actually remember who it was that did it, so I apologize. But in any case, I'm just going to get right into it because I don't want to make this too long, which generally tag videos end up being long if you've watched any of Our Conscious Life. So question number one, when and why did you go vegan? I went vegan almost 2 years ago now. I celebrated sometime around my birthday between the end of July and beginning of September, because it was kind of in that time frame somewhere that I actually finally made the step. But I went vegan because, any number of reasons really, but really I kind of came into it from an environmental standpoint as much as anything else, even though obviously I did have an ethical connection to the animals and stuff. It really wasn't about health at all. But Jamie was already vegan, and she'd been kind of exposing me to the lifestyle for a very long time. So yeah, it was a pretty easy transition, to be honest, a lot easier than I thought it would be. What or who inspired you to go vegan? Yeah, so I kind of already covered that with the first question, but Jamie definitely inspired me because she was a constant reminder of just how easy the lifestyle was, really. But she gave me a good push with recommending some YouTube channels, definitely watching Gary Yourofsky's speech and watching a little bit of Harley and Freely early on, because I really did enjoy Harley's humor and stuff. So Durian Rider, in case you don't know who that is for some reason. If you're vegan and you don't know who Durian Rider is, wow. But in any case, yeah, just kind of getting me into watching a couple of those guys because she knew that I'd appreciate the humor. And Gary Yourofsky was huge for sure. And actually Emily Bite Size Vegan was very huge as well, because she definitely had the educational front down perfectly. So those are big influences for sure. Favorite vegan documentary? That's kind of a tough one. I have actually never sat down and watched all of Earthlings. I got a few minutes in and was like, you know what, I don't need to see this. And I don't think that I really want to see it. I was already vegan when I attempted to watch it and was like, no, I don't need to do this. But I definitely understand its ability to provide that shock value. So definitely that has to be a favorite, even though I haven't watched the whole thing. But Cowspiracy, even though it's technically really, I guess, a vegan documentary, it's more environmental. That was huge for me because, I did always consider myself to be an environmentalist, even though clearly I just wasn't educated enough to realize that I wasn't being an environmentalist at all. Next question. What vegan diet do you follow? Yeah, I do. None in particular. I eat plant-based foods, and yeah, that's about it. Is anyone in your family vegan? I have an uncle who is vegan, pretty new to it within the last couple of years, same as myself actually. I think he's transitioned from long-time vegetarian to vegan within this last year. I don't see him very often because we don't live near one another really, but we have some communication every now and then, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, I don't have any vegan family members. Do I know any vegans in real life? I do know one woman who works at the same company as me, is a long-term vegan. And I know of a couple of people and like see them every now and then, but I don't have like everyday vegans in my real life, other than Jamie, of course, long-term girlfriend who, yeah, so I do see her every day. But you guys know that. Favorite vegan dishes? I love Mexican food. I could eat burritos and tacos, and man, I could just eat that shit every day. Like I could just put a bunch of Mexican food in a wrap or in a bowl and just eat it every single day. But yeah, between Mexican or just raw fruit, man, you can't go wrong. What is your stance on buying cruelty-free when their parent company isn't? I try to avoid it if possible, but sometimes, it just isn't possible to get something that you need in certain areas, like especially for us in Eastern Canada, there is not a huge vegan scene at all, so sometimes we just need to buy something, and we need something that comes from a company that isn't vegan, and what do? Like, you try to get something, the product itself that is vegan, of course, but you can't always get like, an exclusively vegan company and support that as much as I'd love to. How do I react to interactions with meat eaters? I can be extremely patient, and I can be extremely thoughtful, and I can be extremely educational. How I interact with them is completely dependent on how they interact with me, because I can also be an asshole if pushed. And I don't mean to be, but if I'm trying to be a nice guy and just sitting there like at work or whatever, enjoying my lunch and not making a fuss about what's going on around me, because I don't want to make shit weird in the workplace, and somebody says something stupid, I'm going to call them out on it. It is what it is. Last question is favorite vegan YouTubers, and that's so many people. Like, I watch so many different channels, so you know who you are, but I'll leave a couple links in the description. Recently, I've started watching a lot of Hench Herbivore and Finding Gemma, and I definitely have been enjoying them, enjoying their channel for sure. I've just come across some really good new channels as well, so if you look to see who I'm subscribed to, there's some great channels in there, and I watch them pretty regularly. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Appreciate you guys watching this. If anybody wants to do this tag, by all means, let me know. If anybody knows where this tag originated from, please give credit to the guy who who I screenshotted the questions from. Sorry, I don't remember. Yeah, if you want to do it, go ahead. Please leave in the comments that you did, and I'll go check it out. Also, if you have any questions or comments about some of the answers that I've given, by all means, leave them in the comments as well. Keep the conversation going. And yeah, just keep living vegan, guys. And if you're not vegan, hey, keep supporting us vegan YouTubers by watching and commenting. And thanks for at least being part of the conversation. I think it's really, really cool when people who aren't vegan are at least open to just being part of the conversation and being willing to learn. That's exactly how I started off. It's exactly how I think a lot of people even got to where they are now. So you have to accept something before you can make it part of your reality. So yeah, that's it. I'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.